Hi, good evening, everyone. So let us go ahead and finish GATE 2025 paper today. We have already done question till question number 52, I think. Yes. We'll begin with question number 53. Go ahead, try to answer this in the chat window. So question says, consider the two scenarios for small open economy based on Mundell-Fleming model. One scenario is given as this, and one scenario is given as this. In the first scenario, what we can notice is that net export is a function of exchange rate and income. And in the second scenario, net export is only a function of exchange rate. Now, if I, if I help you recall this, then net export is export minus import. Import, usually I write it as a function of income, m bar plus small m y, where m is marginal propensity to import. And when I keep m as 0, then m becomes m bar. Mane, when marginal propensity to import is 0, import is not linked to income, then import is just m bar. And if import is m bar, mane it becomes exogenous. It is determined outside the model. It's exogenous. It's a fixed value. It's given. So the second model, जहाँ पे income नहीं है यहाँ पे, that means here export and import, they're exogenous. First model में import must have been this function. Right? Ab let's look at the question, what the question is going ahead and say. Okay, okay, let's look into it. So the question goes ahead and says, given the above information, which of the following statement is correct? Increase in G has no effect on income in scenario 1. Is it a true statement? You have to tell which of the following statement is correct. Go ahead, tell me if it is true or false. Anyone? Okay, why, if you're saying true, why is it true? Why is it true? Yes. So read out the complete question. Read the statement above. उन्होंने बोला consider Mundell-Fleming model. So I think you need to read this a little more. With floating exchange rate and perfect capital mobility. Floating exchange rate and perfect capital mobility. Now try to think about it. Statement number 1. Is it true or false? Yes, good. So basically increase in G का मतलब हो गया, we are talking about fiscal policy. And we know fiscal policy is ineffective when we have flexible exchange rate and perfect capital mobility. You remember this case of Mundell-Fleming model? We have done 12 cases. उन 12 cases में से ये I think case number 3 था. That when we talk about increase in government expenditure, माने when we talk about fiscal policy, it is ineffective when flexible exchange rate and perfect capital mobility is there. माने it will have no effect on income, so this is true. Read statement number 2. Decrease in T lowers income in scenario 2. Decrease in tax lowers income in scenario 2. What about this statement? Okay. So this is very interesting. Very, very interesting. The answer is true. First of all, we have to understand that here I have, let's look very carefully. I have net export only as a function of exchange rate. Income is not coming. ठीक है तो since it is only a function of exchange rate, क्योंकि सिर्फ exchange rate की बात हो रही है, if I go ahead and if I have to draw IS and LM curve, right? The IS LM curve is drawn in the normal interest rate and income space. If I have to go ahead and draw the ISLM curve, the net export part will only be affected by the exchange rate. अब यूजुअली क्या होता है, थिंक अबाउट इट. सो यूजुअली अंडर नॉर्मल सर्कमस्टांसेस, जब मेरे पास परफेक्ट कैपिटल मोबिलिटी है, दिस इज माय बीपी कर्व, दिस इज माय आईएस कर्व and this is my LM curve. Under usual circumstances, when we talk about flexible exchange rate, जब हम flexible exchange rate की बात करते हैं, so we say, okay, there is increase in government expenditure. IS curve will shift rightwards. We will move from point A to point B. At point B, the interest rate has increased. So there will be capital outflow. Right? When there will be capital outflow, it will cause exchange rate to depreciate. Sorry, capital inflow. Interest rate is increasing. Capital inflow. It will cause exchange rate to appreciate. When exchange rate will appreciate, net export will decrease and IS curve will shift backward. So IS curve shifted rightwards, IS curve shifted backwards, and we come back at the same position. ठीक है. LM curve में there is no movement, no shift. LM curve में there is movement along the curve. जब हम point A से B पे गए थे, we were moving like this, then we were moving like this. So we start with A, we go to B, we go back to A, and therefore this is non-effective. The fiscal policy becomes non-effective. This is the first thing, first analysis. Increase in government expenditure से क्या होगा? अब बात करते हैं what happens when there is change in tax. अब देखो जो G वाला कंपोनेंट था, it was only entering the IS equation in both the scenarios. G was not there here or here. G is not in LM curve. इसीलिए there was no shift of the LM curve. LM curve ना rightward shift हुआ ना leftward. The LM curve did not shift. Right? Are you understanding this? Because the G component was only there in the IS curve. Now the question is, what happens when there is change in tax rate, the taxation? Then notice that the tax is also coming here. That means whenever there is going to be change in tax rate, it is also going to impact the LM curve. And how will it impact the LM curve? We know that the LM curve is drawn जहां पे supply of money meets the demand of money. और हम डिमांड ऑफ मनी के फंक्शन को कैसे लिखते हैं? के वाई माइनस एच आई. तो यहां पर हाउ दे हैव ट्विस्टेड द क्वेश्चन is that instead of writing LM curve as ky minus hi, they have written kyd minus hi. माने उन्होंने they have made it a function of disposable income. And हमें पता है that when income increases, the demand increases, and income decreases, demand decreases. So now in this case, when we go ahead and when we notice that there is going to be a decrease in tax, there is going to be a decrease in tax. It means your income will increase, disposable income. Tax is decreasing, disposable income is increasing. Demand of money will increase. So the LM curve will also shift to the right. आईएस कर्व तो शिफ्ट हो ही रहा है जैसे यहां तक हो रहा था किसी भी फिजिकल पॉलिसी में. बट इन दिस केस द एलएम कर्व विल आल्सो शिफ्ट साइमल्टेनियसली. यहां एलएम कर्व शिफ्ट नहीं हो रहा था because G was not coming in the LM curve, but T is coming in the LM curve. So what we notice here now is that if this is my BP curve and this is my IS and this is my LM, है ना? तो we notice कि when tax rate will decrease, then IS should shift to the right. But even the LM should shift to the right. So even the LM curve is going to shift, right? So the decrease in tax rate will increase my disposable income. It will increase the income of the consumer, right? It is going to go ahead and impact not only the IS curve, but also the LM curve. This is the scenario that we are going ahead and analyzing in this case. Is it fine? Any doubt in this? What about scenario 1? Will tax rate impact the LM curve in scenario 1? No, it will not impact. Correct. Okay, what about statement number 3? Go ahead, try to answer that. C is false. Sorry, did I miss something here? Income will increase. That's right. So what did I write? Okay, sorry. That's right. This should be false actually. Yes. So the only aspect you have to consider is that it is going to go ahead and have a T component here. That is what is important. I mean, you have to go ahead and you have to show that. Think of that. Okay, next one. What about statement number 3? Okay. Okay. Fine. So let's see it together. So this goes ahead and says expansionary fiscal policy rate raises income in scenario 1 and scenario 2. तो ये तो सेम ही हो गया that expansionary fiscal policy raises income in scenario 1, which is therefore false because fiscal policy is ineffective, right? Okay. Talk about expansionary fiscal policy raises exchange rate in scenario 1 and scenario 2. Statement number D. What about statement number D? Is it true or false? Okay, good. So whenever government expenditure will increase, IS will shift rightwards, right? And whenever IS will shift to the right, your interest rate will increase, capital will inflow, exchange rate will appreciate. So yeah, this is true that the exchange rate will appreciate, right? So expansionary fiscal policy, exchange rate will appreciate. Would we take decrease in tax also as expansionary fiscal policy? You can. Yes, you can take that. Is this clear? Any doubt in this question? Can I move on? Okay, next question. Question number 54. Which of the following statement is or are correct in context of foreign exchange market? Okay. When the value of domestic currency increases the value of foreign currency, the domestic currency experiences appreciation. Right? So this is true. When the value of domestic currency increases vis-a-vis the value of foreign currency, it experiences depreciation. When the value of domestic currency decreases with the value of... Hey, why is this question even given? A and C is the answer to this question. Correct. Question number 55. Which of the following statement characterize the Indian labor market? Try to answer this. High workforce participation rate in agriculture. This is true. A predominant formal sector. No, informal sector is there. False. Increasing gig and contractual employment. Definitely it's true. High contractual employment and gig employment. Dual structure comprising of organized and unorganized sector is also true. A, C and D are the correct options. ठीक है जी. Next question. Question number 56. Go ahead, give it a try. Anyone can tell what is a gig worker? Who is a gig worker? Yes, that's right. You should be knowing this because abhi to there is so much going on related to Zomato, na? Zomato and Swiggy and the Instamart delivery. So Gig worker is any worker who is earning income through task based or contract work, right? Usually it is through these digital platforms. So there is no permanent employer-employee relationship that you have. And the entire debate that is going on these days related to the food delivery partner, this is all about helping these gig workers and giving them social security. Yes, all of these. Okay. Okay, next question. Question number 56. Which of the following statements is or are correct? Go ahead, answer it in the chat. According to pollution haven hypothesis, trade liberalization may lead to reallocation of production to countries where either environmental regulation are ineffective or altogether absent. According to, okay, I think most of you would not know what these terms are because it is an environment question. Let's leave it towards the end. I'll give you certain important definitions of environmental economics, which can help you solve this question. I'll take it towards the end, huh? Otherwise, it will be a lot of time wasted to explain these concepts. I'll give you these terms. Go on to the next question and wrap up the paper first. Question number 57. Go ahead, give it a try. There are two firms in an industry producing homogeneous product. Market demand function दिया हुआ है. P is equal to 1 minus Q1 plus Q2. Firm 1's cost function is a common knowledge and equal to 0. C1 is 0. Firm 2's cost function is private information. Only applicable if you want to give GATE exam. If you are doing CUET, IIT, ISI, or any other exam, please skip this question. This is not part of the course other than GATE. Okay. Firm 2's cost function is private information. Firm 1 believes Firm 2's cost function is 0.5 Q2 with probability 0.5 and 0.25 Q2 with probability 0.5. Let Q1 star denote the quantity produced by firm 1 in Bayesian-Nash equilibrium of this game. Then the value of 24 times Q1 star is. Yes, this is advanced game theory and it's not part of any course other than this. Okay, so the firms are going ahead and they are determining the output simultaneously. Okay, and firm 2 का जो cost function है वो firm 1 is assuming to be something. माने firm 1 को नहीं पता कि उसका actual cost function क्या है, but it's just creating a cost function based on its expectation. It is just thinking that maybe this is the cost function of firm 2, right? So if I ask you, what is going to be based on this cost function, suppose, what will be the profit function of firm 2? Price, quantity, minus cost of firm 2. So price is just 1 minus Q1 minus Q2 into Q2. And cost is this. Firm 1 के हिसाब से तो यही cost है ना. This is the maximum we know. So cost will be 0.5 Q2 into 0.5 and 0.25 Q2 into 0.5. Just solve this. Just maximize this एक बारी. What are you going to get? Differentiate this with respect to Q2. You will get 1 minus 2Q1. Sorry, minus Q1, Q2 का it will be Q1 minus 2Q2 minus 0.5 into 0.5 minus 0.25 into 0.5. According to firm 1, क्योंकि उसको फर्म 2 का कॉस्ट फंक्शन नहीं पता है, उसने एक उसका कॉस्ट लिया और उसके बेसिस पे उसका रिएक्शन कर्व निकाल लिया. So this will go ahead and this will come out to be 1 minus Q1 minus 2Q2 minus 0.25 minus this is 0. This. Just solve this. Give me the reaction function of firm 1. Firm 2. Give me the final value. So 1 minus 0.25 minus 0.125. This is 0.625 minus Q1 minus 2Q2. ठीक है. So firm 1 ने अपने माइंड में firm 2 का ये सॉल्व कर लिया and he gets this equal to 0 and he gets Q2 is equal to 0.625 minus Q1 by 2. Right? Now, in this game, it is clearly mentioned firms choose their quantity simultaneously. तो ये तो मेरा हो गया रिएक्शन फंक्शन ऑफ फर्म 2. अब हम फर्म 1 का रिएक्शन फंक्शन निकाल लेते हैं. प्राइस, क्वांटिटी एंड कॉस्ट इज 0. So price is 1 minus Q1 minus Q2 into Q1. Differentiate this with respect to Q1 and you will get 1. Q1 square का हो गया 2Q1. Q1 Q2 का Q2 equal to 0. Q1 equal to 1 minus Q2 by 2. Solve these two simultaneously. Put 1 in the other function and the other equation and solve. So, ये 1 minus Q2 by 2 को we can put it here. So, we'll get Q2 is equal to 0.625 minus, reverse karo so that you get Q1 directly. So, we will have Q1 is equal to 1 minus 0.625 minus Q1 by 2 by 2. So, 2Q1 is equal to 2 minus 0.625 minus Q1 by 2. 4Q1 is equal to 2 minus 0.625 minus Q1. 3Q1 is equal to 2 minus 0.625. Just give me the answer for Q1 here. Let me open the calculator. So, what answer are we getting for Q1 here? 0.45833 approximately. And then the question is asking us to find 24 times Q1. So multiply it with 24. So if I multiply it with 24, I'm getting exact 11. So the answer to this question is exact 11. That's the answer. Is it clear? एनी डाउट? माने यू ओनली हैव टू डू एनीवेज अगर आपको गेट का एग्जाम देना है.